Alright everyone, Cowboy Trades here, welcome back to the channel for another update on GalaGames. So, what on earth is happening today? The altcoin market is getting obliterated with GalaGames down almost 10%, massively underperforming pretty much every altcoin that I cover on the channel. So, what's happening with this? We're breaking down to a very crucial level right now, and if we lose this level that I'm going to talk about in the video, then GalaGames might find itself launching down to new price targets, which we haven't discussed before, entering new bear market lows. We'll talk about the higher time frames, update these lower time frame charts. Let's dive right into this. So before I update the Gala USD pairs, I want to talk about Gala in comparison to the rest of the markets. Now, not only for Gala, but for the altcoins that I cover on the channel, I've been highlighting the strength of the Bitcoin dominance recently and talking about how all of the altcoin BTC pairs, apart from, some new ones like Pepe, are absolutely getting obliterated. You can see Gala BTC, we were predicting this to have about a 36% drop in our previous video. We're down about 24% already, with about another 15% move to come down until we hit new bear market lows for Gala. So Gala is still showing major weakness against Bitcoin. I always say this, but these altcoin BTC pairs are leading indicators for the rest of the markets. If this comes down and makes new bear market lows, you can bet that Gala USD is also going to come and have a knee-jerk reaction, taking out its previous low at 1.5 cent. I also do just want to quickly highlight over on the Bitcoin dominance, we have broken to the upside of this bull flag, which has been developing since the 20th of March 2023. We broke out, had a throwback on the trend line and back tested it as support, and right now we're pushing up a little bit higher. The last time we broke out of this, we came back to back test it and failed it. We've just back tested this as support and it looks like we're pushing up right now. So I'll keep you up to date on this. Also, Bitcoin, not really too much to update. We're still in this major resistance box, which I have been highlighting. And if we start breaking to the downside of this, then basically it's going to be over for Bitcoin. This rally is going to be done. Bitcoin dominance is going to start exploding. You're going to see Gala BTC break down into new bear market lows. And this is when you're going to see the altcoin USD pairs like Gala USD absolutely launch to the downside. So as we've been discussing in the higher time frames for Gala USD in the past few months also, we were really residing around this big area of liquidity in the market. You can see this massive point of control right here at 5 cent, and we have quite recently lost this massive cluster of support. If I draw out a box from where all of this liquidity is in the market, you can see there's a lot of liquidity in this green box, which we've been trading in for absolutely ages, and we're falling beneath this box right now into an area where there is literally no liquidity in this market. So it looks like things are going to get extremely dangerous for GalaGames very soon as we continue breaking down. We've been rejected on points of control, we've been rejected on EMA ribbons, bull market support bands, and now we've got a brutal bearish engulfing candle on the weekly. If we come over to our next chart, you can see the same point of control over here. So I'll just remove this temporarily to make this screen a little bit easier to read, get rid of the bull market support bands. We've been talking about this double 618 Fibonacci, which we've been residing between. Basically, if you look at the most recent macro swing high up here at 7 cent down to the low, and then you draw your swing low to swing high Fibonacci to this most recent rally, you can see we're presented with these two 618 fibs between 5 cent and 3.3 cent, and we were letting you know, don't expect a lot to happen in the markets while Gala is range bound between these two fibs. But as soon as Gala takes out this 618 fib, which we've been holding as support, coming back down and back testing, and as you can see, we've got a bearish engulfing candle melting to the downside of this right now. As it is the weekend right now, we really only have a few days to get back above 3.4 cent, and if we don't, you can absolutely bet Gala's coming down to the 786 Fibonacci at 2.5 cent, and at which point, if we break to the downside of this 786 Fibonacci at 2.5 cent, where's the next level to the downside? You've got a massive fib down here at the 1.618 Fibonacci at 1 cent. This is a psychological level. This is also a listing price level on major exchanges. So number one, 1 cent is a massive psychological level. Number two, 1 cent is the 1.618 Fibonacci, a absolutely major macro Fibonacci that we've got in these markets. And also number three, this is associated with many listing prices across major exchanges. So Definitely expect Gala, like we've been predicting for the past few months in the macro time frame, to come down to this 1 cent price target. As we've been discussing, this is maybe not something for this week, maybe not something for this month. When I really do talk about Gala, you do bear in mind I don't trade this, so I'm not really too interested in what's happening in the 4-hour time frame so we can trade this. This is really something I'm interested in accumulating as it gets really, really cheap. So I do expect this to have a massive, massive run into the next cycle. Do I really care what happens on the 4-hour time frame? No, this is pretty much why I update this like maybe every week or so. I'm really just giving you the macro picture. When I say we're coming down to 1 cent, it doesn't mean we're going to be down here next week. It doesn't mean we can't have 5-10% bounces in the meantime. But as you can see, the analysis in the higher time frame is definitely developing as we absolutely melt to the downside. So yeah, we're breaking through some pretty significant levels right now. I'll talk about these levels more towards the end of the video. In terms of the Elliott wave theory, which we've been discussing, this WXY double free structure, it's called a double free structure because you have 3 sets of ABCs within a WXY wave. You've got an ABC down to wave W, you've got an ABC up to wave X, and then coming down into the final capitulation, you have an ABC correction. You can see absolutely how beautifully wave Y has been playing out. This is completely unambiguous. There's really no other touch points to draw this down to for wave A. I definitely think it would be a massive stretch to, draw something like this and be like, oh, the bear market lows are in. I think it's very, very clear we've had a macro wave A, macro bounce up to wave B. When we bounced up to wave B, we didn't invalidate this previous wave up here. And with the structure of the market right now developing, it seems pretty clear that we're coming down for that final wave C, which, as you know, I've been predicting in many charts that this is going to come down to 1 cent. So what does this mean for the lower time frames and our next price target for GalaGames, and also importantly our last line in the sand? Well, if we come over to the daily time frame, we've been discussing this range high SFP pattern where, at least in the immediate short term, we've been trading 90% of the data within this range, and every time we deviate, or also known in the SFP pattern as a swing failure pattern, every time we have these swing failure patterns, we do it from up here. We have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, and these always correlate to brutal moves back down to the downside. So we're really seeing this develop right now. We've had multiple rejections and SFP patterns above the top of this range high, and now it just looks like the range low back down here at 2 cent is an absolute magnet. As we discussed earlier, we do have a 786 Fibonacci right here, round about 2.5 cents. So at least in the immediate short term, this is kind of where I expect us to continue down to in the following week, about another 17% drop to the downside, at which point, if we do break to the downside of this, expect us to come down to 2 cent, the range lows, and then expect us to get continuation back down to 1.5 cent. But why these price targets? If we come over to the next chart, I want to show you what's going to happen in the immediate short term, what my new price target for GalaGames is. Do bear in mind, in the bear market lows, we're still kind of targeting around about this 1 cent region, but there's also another price target you might want to keep your eyes on, and a fractal which is developing right now. So first of all, we've got a bearish engulfing candle, and we're coming down to this neckline right down here. If we come over to the daily, you can see touch point, held as support. We're coming down to it right now. On the daily, looks a little bit ugly. On the weekly, this is a beautiful M pattern developing with a breakdown price target. Let me see if I can get this more accurately. Right down here at 1.4 cent, making new bear market lows. Now, this price target is also very similar to another price target we have been discussing on the channel. If we remove all of the drawings, what can you see? Well, if I come over to the daily, it might be a little bit more obvious. We have a beautiful bark pattern. This is where you have a parabolic run up, spiky top, spiky top, spiky top, spiky top. And then as quickly as you run to the upside, you very, very quickly start to run to the downside after you kind of break beneath the neckline of the spiky top. I see these develop all the time. You have a parabolic run to the upside. You have like an accumulation distribution phase, spike, 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 spike. And then as soon as you kind of fall beneath, the lower bounds of these spikes, you are absolutely boned. And this is where you come down as quickly as you went back up. So like I've said before, GalaGames is going to go down to 1 cent a lot sooner than some people think. I don't believe anymore that this is going to take months and months to develop. I think we're going to be down to 1 cent within probably a month or so. With that being said, your last line in the sand is right here at 3 cent. And if we do break to the downside of this, expect a breakdown to 1.4 cent. This is the M pattern breakdown price target. And also this would just exceed the BART pattern price target at 0.15 cent. And in terms of our previous range lows, this would take us beneath this SFP pattern at 2 cents. So that's what I see developing. I also quickly want to share with you one final thing which is happening in the markets. Now, a lot of the time, I especially notice this for Gala. Gala has been getting obliterated against the US dollar and also its Bitcoin pair throughout the entirety of this bear market. But what happens is every single time, because Gala has these crazy rallies in the bear market, there's no denying that. You can see from this bounce up here, if I come over to the daily to really see where this bounced from, you can see that this was about, 128% bounce, 160% bounce. Over here, this was, 300% bounce. A lot of the time, these bounces happen in Gala, and every time we bounce, people swear that the bull run is back. But if you zoom out to the macro picture, you can see something developing since the top. What you notice is Gala breaks down into a bear market and it finds support. It goes on a crazy rally to the upside. It distributes and chops sideways, chops sideways, chops sideways. It then breaks beneath the low after months and months and months of people getting bullish that we're above the lows. And then we backtest the lows, break down into new lows. We come down to new bear market lows. We hold it as support. And for months, we trend up or we just trend slightly above this. Everyone says the bull run is back. We haven't broken beneath these lows for months and months and months. And then what do? We break down, back test the previous lows as resistance, and we break back down and find new bear market lows. Then what do? After we find new bear market lows down here, we go on a massive rally to the upside. Everyone says, Gala has been holding above the bear market lows for months now. Bulls are screwed, something like this. And all we do is we come back up to previous support, flip it as resistance, and then, as we distribute for months and months and months, people swear, people swore throughout all of these distribution phases that Gala was never going to return down to the lows. And what's it going to do? It's probably going to do the same thing, break down into new bear market lows, maybe around about 1 cent, probably back test this as resistance. At which point, we'll have to reanalyze the markets. We'll have to see what the general health in the market is. Either we could just chop sideways before the next run, or we could break back down lower. Like I said, this is really something to focus on in the future. It's not something I want to focus on now. I want to take things one price target at a time. And in the immediate short term, my price targets, the major ones that I'm looking at are 1.5 to 1.4 cent, and also the price target we've been discussing on this channel for ages, 1 cent. So for today, my friends, that's all I've got. GalaGames is not looking good in the higher time frames or the lower time frames, and 1 cent might come much sooner than you expect. So if you do enjoy my content, as always, let me know down below by leaving a like and a comment. Share the videos with your friends. If you want to further support the channel, feel free to click the join button and become a member today. It's been your boy Cowboy Trades. I'm out. Peace.